Hello, in this video I'll be talking about polygons in the coordinate plane. Let's say we have this coordinate grid here and then we have a rectangle on it and we wanted to find the perimeter of this rectangle. Now usually the dimensions of the rectangle that we need to find the perimeter of are given. In this case they're only given in a sense that it's on the coordinate grid, so we can kind of figure it out. So first of all I'm going to write down what the points are. So this is 4, 7. This one's at 4, 2. This one's at -6, 2. And this one's at -6, 7. Now to find the height of this rectangle, we have one thing you can do is you can count the units. So we could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can see that it's 5 units. Another thing we can do is take a look at the height numbers, which, as you know, is the second number of the ordered pair. So if this one's at a height of 7 and this one's at a height of 2, the difference between 7 and 2 is 5, so 5 units. And since it is a rectangle, we know that this would be 5 as well, but if you weren't told it was a rectangle, you might double check. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 7 minus 2, so this is in fact 5 units. Now, if we wanted to figure out the width, you can again count the units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But let's see if we could do that using the left and right numbers. So we have a 4 and a -6. Okay, and so remember what we did to figure out distance is subtract these two numbers. So 4 minus -6, or -6 minus 4. So that's something we haven't done yet, is add and subtract positive and negative numbers. And so what we're going to do is save that for later. But just so you know, you can add and subtract positive and negative numbers, and that would help us find the answer here. So I guess as a preview, you know that 4 minus -6 is 10. So that's interesting. So the perimeter of this shape, after we've figured out all the dimensions, is 10 plus 5 plus 10 plus 5, which is 30. So the perimeter is 30 units. Also, since absolute value is a distance, we can also think of this distance here as the distance from 0 to -6 is 6, so we have the absolute value of 6, plus the distance from here to here, which is 0 to 4, which is 4 units, so the absolute value of 4, and so we know that that would be 10. So that's another way to think about that. Without being shown a picture, we were given the ordered pairs of 2 points. So here's one point, -7.5, -6.25, and the other point is 19.5, -6.25. And if we're not given a picture, how would we find the distance between these 2 points? Well, we could draw a picture, but having the decimals there might make that a little tricky. So if we just kind of think about it, well, the height of these 2 points are both at -6.25. So we don't have to worry about the height. So they're points that are kind of horizontal from each other. So we know that one is at -7.5, and we know that one is at +19.5. And so how do we figure out that distance? Well, if you knew how to subtract positive and negative numbers, you could do it like that. But since you don't know how to do that, we can also think about it in terms of a number line and distance, right? So 19.5, let's say that 0 is somewhere around here. So the distance from 19.5 to 0, which we show as absolute value, is equal to 19.5. And the distance from -7.5 to 0 is 7.5. So what we have is the distance from here to here is 19.5, and the distance from here to here is 7.5, And so when you add those distances together, you can tell how far apart these points were, which looks like 27 units. Another thing you can do with polygons in a coordinate plane are make a reflection. A reflection is a flip or a transformation that flips a figure over a line called the line of reflection. You can use anything as the line of reflection, but let's pretend for a minute that the y-axis, I'll label them both, but the y-axis is going to be a reflection line, and we're going to flip or reflect this shape over in quadrant 1 and see what that looks like. Essentially, you can think of it like a mirror. And so you can kind of guess what the points are going to be. So if you look at this point here, let me label them. We'll call it A, B, C, and D. If you look at point B, it is 2 units away from the y-axis. So if you were going to make a reflection and this was the mirror, then the reflection of point B should be also 2 points away from the y-axis. Now point D, it's down at a height of 2, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4 units away from the y-axis, so we're going to want to count 1, 2, 3, 4 units here. And let me also write the coordinates. So this will be at 2, 6, and this one will be at 2, 4. And now let's look at point A here. Now there's 2 ways you can think about this one. The shape is going to be the same, it's just going to be flipped over. So the distance from B to A is 1, 2, 3, 4, so you could just count 4 over. 1, 2, 3, 4, and put it at 6, 6. Another thing you could have done is count from the center again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And finally the last one again is 4 units away from 2, 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can see our reflected shape should have these points. Whoops, that's not an 8. Let me fix that. Should be a 2. No, that was right. Okay, 8, 2. Oh, I guess I messed up over here. Let me double check my points here. So 2, 6, 6, 6, and this one should be 4, 2. Okay, that's the one I messed up. Change that up. 4, 2. Alright, now we could compare these points to the points over here. So point A was at -6, 6. Point B is at -2, 6. Point C is at -8, 2. And point D was at -4, 2. So you can see if you compare these points, point A to the new point A, there's only one change that occurs, a -2 to a 2, a -6 to a 6, a -8 to an 8, and a -4 to a 4. So you can see when something is reflected over the y-axis, what would happen to its ordered pair. Now just to see if we made the right points on the reflection, let's just double check it. So we'll clone that, let's flip it left and right, and let's slide it over. Sure enough, those are the correct points. Alright, you can also reflect things over the x-axis. You could also reflect things over a line that you make up, which we can do tomorrow. Thanks for watching.